Basically, Franklin cries a lot when he gets a higher value treat. Even medium value.
Yeah.
We give him milkbones and he just cries, and he cries when I have chicken or something that he really wants. He'll start to cry like 15 minutes.
Oh, I was
even
longer, like an hour sometimes. We just want to make sure that we're not like making this behavior worse. It feels like we're maybe pushing him too hard or stressing him out too much, and it's being counterproductive.
I would absolutely agree. This is a negative stress. That whole section right there, he's opening his eyes real big. He's giving a couple whale eye situations. That's happening as a byproduct of how far he's pulling that tissue back. He's giving so much space on that forehead. The very easy conclusion is don't give him the thing to dark. Just don't let him have the milk bone. Just if it's causing him so much stress, I think 99% of dog trainers would just be like, well, just don't give it to him. If the magical solution is just don't give it to him, well, what is he going to choose in lieu of that? If the emotion motivating the behavior is so ingrained in him, then in theory, you could shuffle through a bunch of different resources and he's just going to play ring around the rosy until the next one comes around. And so the avoidance solution rarely works for the long haul. You guys spent too much time with me and no, that's not my solution.
Yeah, so basically Franklin, he cries a lot when he gets like a higher value treat or even something that's kind of, I would say, like even medium value.
Yeah,
We give him milkbones and he just like cries and cries when we give him jokes. And our trainer a long time ago was like, oh, it's probably because he's so anxious and used to not having a lot of access to food or treats that he's like projecting his anxiety to have something so valuable. So we tried to help him hide it under covers and stuff, and sometimes that will help him, or we'll put it under a pillow or something just to like pretend like we can't see it or something. But that's kind of part one. Part two is we've been doing knock desensitization with him with our front door, and I've noticed that when I have chicken or something that he really wants, he'll start to cry before I've even knocked. And I thought maybe it was because we were like pushing him too quickly, like with the knocking, but then I noticed that it was happening before I'd even knock. So I'm curious if you think that those two are related, or if it's something that we should actively try to like help him with.
How similar or dissimilar is his behavior or sounds that he makes when he's his bone versus when you're playing with the door?
I would say pretty similar.
Yeah.
It's like the only time we hear him make noise.
Yeah. And he'll do it like, honestly, with his milk bone. Sometimes he'll take it upstairs to our bedroom and he'll cry up there for like 15 minutes.
Oh, I was
even longer,
like an hour sometimes, and we kind of just like let him do it. But then like,
yeah. Other times I'll try to like, break up the tree and see if that helps. Sometimes it does. But yeah, the only slight difference I would say with the door knocking is he's in a much more like an active, like he'll be laying down, but his ears are like super wide and alert. Like he's like, okay, I'm ready to get this chicken type of behavior. Whereas with the milk bone, I would say it's not quite as like alert. He's just like sitting there.
Is the alertness at the door, is that because he's like, oh, we're training, it's happening? Or is that because of the value of the chicken?
It's funny because like if we do like little like finger taps on the door, he really does it. But if we like knock, he's like totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we just want to make sure that we're not like making this behavior worse if it is a like over threshold over arousal situation.
Yeah, let's see it. I'd be curious.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Ready. Honey, it's okay, baby.
And he started this before you gave him that Kong with the bone on the bottom?
It was like as I presented it to him, he like took it in his mouth, he put it down, and then the water works.
It's okay. Good boy. And we have a couple other examples, but like the lip licking too, it's like it seems like he's stressed, but he's getting something that he really wants.
Go ahead, bud.
Buddy. It's okay. So sad. It's really short, but that was like after we took it out of the Kong, I think, for him.
Yeah.
Okay. And like unpack your thinking a little bit. Why did you take the bone out of the Kong?
Sometimes I've noticed when I like break the milk bone, like kind of start the process for him, I almost feel like it makes it easier, and then he'll start to eat it and he stops crying.
Okay.
But yeah, he likes working on Kongs. Like it's soothing for him. So.
Yeah, I put the milk in the Kong to kind of like give him a challenge with the Kong, because like normally he's used to just having like either peanut butter or something loose in there, and he's done within 5 minutes, and I'm trying to find ways to prolong it a little so that it's like more interesting for him.
Okay. So he like pause it right there. I just want to talk everyone through this. I want to kind of let everyone in on what's happening here. I would absolutely agree with you that there's like, this is a negative stress in the sense that he's not like particularly happy about what's happening in the moment, right? And we can kind of put that together based off of the tension that he's holding in his eyebrows, his eyes, and his ears, right? That whole section right there, he's opening those eyes real big. And there's a couple times when I tell you push play, we'll see that he's kind of giving a couple whale eye situations, but that's happening as a byproduct of how far he's pulling that tension back in the sides of his eyes and into his ears. He's giving so much space on that forehead, right? So go ahead and push play, and we'll see that he holds the tension right between his eyebrows, but then he pulls everything back and down. He's going to give a lip lick pretty soon, I think.
Good boy.
Yeah, so yeah, there's the lip lick. He also gives kind of a teeth clatter. We see him still holding that tension in the teeth, or in the head rather. He looks like, and I'm generalizing right here. So when I make this statement, and this is for you guys, Team Frank, and everyone listening, when I make this statement, I don't want everyone to jump conclusion and be like, Jenna's right. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. He looks like a mother nursing or a mother nesting. And he looks.
Yeah. We describe him, sorry to interrupt you, but we're
Okay.
just laughing because we describe him as like, he'll be a mother hen. He'll like sit on the bone.
Yeah.
So we definitely know that like this is not like a gender, so only females can nest. No. Males can nest all the time. And we also know that in many cases, nesting can be distressing because they're worried, they're protecting, they want to make sure that it's safe, that nothing bad's going to happen to it, right? So it can be a very distressing experience. And when I'm watching that, like that's what I see. I'm getting flashbacks to my dog that I had in high school who had babies, and like watching her pace for 2 days straight. Like,
Yeah.
It's tough because like I know he loves milkbones, but I don't know if giving them to him is causing panic at night, because something that we've noticed is that like at night he gets very alert and reactive with the door, especially if people are walking by. But part of like why we gave him the milkbone and the Kong again is to give him a job at night, give him something to work on while it's usually when we're cooking or eating.
Yeah.
It feels like we're maybe pushing him too hard or stressing him out too much, and it's being counterproductive. And what we're trying to accomplish, I think, is like, I guess, a healthier job for him so that he's not so stressed out that it's like, instead of worrying about what's outside, he's worrying about this thing he has to protect inside. And so I'm trying to like draw a conclusion to where to go next.
Yeah. So a couple things. I think the very easy conclusion is don't give him the thing to guard, right? Just don't let him have the milk bone. Just if it's causing him so much stress, I think 99% of dog trainers would just be like, well, just don't give it to him. Okay. And you guys have spent too much time with me, and no, that's not my solution. But my thing is, if you take it away, and if the magical solution is just don't give it to him, well, what is he going to choose in lieu of the bone, right? If the behavior is so ingrained in him, if the sensation, the emotion motivating the behavior is so ingrained in him, then in theory, you could shuffle through a bunch of different resources and he's just going to play ring around the rosy until the next one comes around. And so the avoidance solution rarely works for the long haul. Like the avoidance of guard rarely works. What we have to decide is he ultimately getting a form of enrichment out of, even if he is guarding in some capacity, even if he is stressed, is he getting some sort of enrichment that supersedes the cost, right? It's like a benefit cost analysis. I caution people to believe that just because a dog is hiding their food or hiding their bone or, likes to protect it, that inherently means something is wrong. Because in fact, in many cases, that is something enriching, right? That's an essential need that's being met. They like to shuffle their thing and know that it's hidden and that it's a fun little game to go find it later. And like, neener, I found it, you didn't, right? So in some cases, taking that opportunity away from them is robbing them of good enrichment. What's interesting is his guarding is not confrontational so much as he's still experiencing the stress. Yeah. I think in a lot of cases, people wouldn't necessarily look at that as a guarding instance, and they may not even look at it as a, dangerous thing, but it still is in line with guarding. I think where people go wrong is that they assume that guarding is inherently a bad thing, and it's not. Protection and guarding is not always a bad thing. In many cases, it's a very enriching opportunity for them. So what you guys need to investigate, particularly in the cases of training, I see that as actually a bigger issue than in this bone case, in my opinion. Particularly in training, what you have to decide is his arousal, or we can kind of umbrella term it with stress. Is his stress towards the chicken such a cost that it supersedes the benefit that he's learning with the door, right? And if you find that the stress that he is channeling towards, oh my God, it's chicken, oh my God, it's chicken, oh my God, it's chicken, is detracting from what he's able to learn with desensitizing the door, then we need to change the food, right? Yeah. But as I said before, if the problem is really how he feels about the food and that he feels it's such a stimulating, arousing event, then we have to kind of decide how big of an issue is that, such that is this something that's just going to keep recurring over and over and over again in a bunch of different situations? Or is this going to be something that's pretty context specific, and it just so happens that, you know, with that type of chicken at that time of day, he gets pretty aroused by it?
I think it kind of confirms what we were thinking.
I've definitely noticed it with many different types of higher value treats. So maybe we just have to bump it down a tier a little bit. The other thing I might try is like, instead of going to the door to do knocks, I might try it elsewhere in the house first and just see if it's tied to the door at night specifically or something. But yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Does that feel complete for you guys for now?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.